vibing on a vibe. 10-4, we smoking my eye. We go 0 to 65, vibing out the way. Get yours, stay alive. Been dope, vibing on a vibe. 10-4, we smoking my eye.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, The Nikki Joe Show, where we dive into all things. I am your host, Nikki Joe, and today we do have a special guest, and we are going to be interviewing and diving into Rogue's new album, our WCR affiliate. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, say hi.
Hi, I'm Rogue. I'm 20 and I'm from the UK. That's probably all you need to know.
All right, and obviously an artist, one of the many artists in our White Collar Rhymes Discord. So we are going to engage in some interview questions, little conversation, maybe a clip or two that we have, and kind of get into the world of Rogue a little bit, especially over there in the UK. So you are in the UK, and where exactly are you over in Britain? Are you over?
I am near Manchester, so it's a fairly populated area. Specifically in a town called Burnley. I think there's only 70,000 population here. It's very quiet in this area, but if you leave this town, go near Manchester, then yeah, it's so it's like the second London of the UK, basically. So, but in this area, it's just I don't nothing special or anything. But yeah, I've lived there all my life. Probably will end up moving one day. How soon that is in the future, I don't know. But yeah.
Well, maybe if your music career takes off, then you'll be able to go and travel everywhere, but still come home.
Yeah.
So you did just release your debut album on Friday on the 28th. The link is in the description of the YouTube, so everybody go ahead and check it out. It is titled Rogue Jeopardy. And can you tell us a bit about maybe the creative process behind it, or even the title, the Rogue Jeopardy title? I do think that's pretty catchy.
Yeah, so the title came before any of the songs came about. I decided the title in, I think, this November or December of 2022. I'm just seeing Joe Boston say "fuck Alice." That was a running joke on Friday because they thought I said Alice in one of the songs. I didn't say Alice, and they were like, "Fuck Alice." if we see Alice, it's on site. But no. So the title is obviously I'm Rogue. In fact, I need to explain the origin of my name if I'm going to talk about that. So the word Jepson came first because I was always I need to, if I'm going to make music, I need an alias. So Jepson is an anagram of my actual name, Joseph, but with a H swapped out for the N. So it's Jepson instead of Jepsaw because that would have been weird. And then I fell out with my friends coming from school, and one day they accused me of lying, and they were like, "Oh, Joe's gone rogue," and I was like, "You know what? Fuck them! I'm gonna wear that." So I put I put Rogue and then Jepson together, and then that was Rogue Jepson. So that's where the name comes from. And then the album was Rogue. Obviously, I then by that point adopted the name Rogue, and Jeopardy was it was very similar to Jepson, so it was it had a nice ring to it, and it meant me talking about experiences and problems that I've had, kind of. So a Jeopardy is a problem in the road, something in the road, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I like that a lot. Can you elaborate on the creative process a little bit more behind your album? How long have you been working on it? You have so many collaborations on it. It seems like you have a lot of different styles going into it, and it's a nice collaboration melting pot.
So there was actually more features on it, but a lot of them got cut. Originally, DJB was going to be on it, but that was just a single instead. Lamb was going to be on it until like 2 days before the album even got uploaded, and then Jacob came and saved the day with his feature verse was turned around in like 24 hours. But yeah, if we talk about the creative process, so I started working on it. Well, Feeling Low was the first song that I made for the album. That was, I want to say, April 2023. Then I was like, I always wanted to do like that sound, but I couldn't really find the kind of. It's hard to find beats that are similar that aren't the exact same. So I was always like, I need to do switch ups in the album instead of just doing one sound. So that was obviously Lil Peep inspired. I was like, I want to dive into more like the Weekend sounds, Bryson Tiller, Juice WRLD sounds. So yeah, I'd say those four are the main influence for the sound on the project, as well as like one song is very similar to like a Young Lean type song. But yeah, the album was finished in November, so I worked on it from April to November, as in like lyrically. Anyway, I made the odd tweak after then, but it was pretty much just completely finished in November. Other than the final track, Lonely, which Gon sent me the beat in December, and then whenever Gon sends me a beat, it's always like less than 24-hour turnaround anyway, because like he made that beat specific for me, so it's kind of like it's made for me. I'm obviously gonna just instantly fall in love with it. So yeah, but yeah, I was surprised at how. I know it took a few months, but it was quite quick for what I thought it'd be.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of artists can take years to finish an album, or I feel like maybe it just always feels like forever, even if it's a couple months. But then you see people like Paradise just turn out an album like that.
Yeah.
But then Orange Paint they did wait on releasing. But that's what this one I feel like Dice did mix this one, correct?
He mixed 10 songs on it, yeah. Jacob mixed one and Bort mixed 2.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. So you even have a different collaboration of engineers in our community too, which is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like, with this one too, since this being your debut, do you feel that you took the appropriate amount of time getting it ready and it was perfect? You went back over, double checked everything?
I'd say
I know we've heard some on our show, so
there's one song that I'd probably remember if I was to go back a month ago with the knowledge I have now. There's one song I'd remove, and there's one creative decision on track 3 that I would revert back to how it was. Because Passive said on Friday he wishes the hook came back in, and it originally did, but I decided. It was mainly what MCD said when we did the reactions on YouTube. He said he never wants to hear a hook 3 times usually. So I removed the hook at the end of the song, so it just ran twice, and I blame MCD for that. But nah, but yeah, I'd probably change that back, but it's done now anyway. But I'd remove the one track from the album, Careless, and other than that, I'm fairly happy with how it came out.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I have listened to part of the album. I still do have to finish listening to it. But so far, and I have enjoyed different aspects on it. You did have a balance of different singing and even like rapping and such on it. How do you decide the balance between your singing, songwriting, the rapping skills that you have, bringing collabs in your songs to put on the album and that arrangement? Do you have a preference over singing or rapping one over the other?
I never go into a song thinking I'm gonna rap here. I always go in like I'm gonna sing here, but then I end up I don't think I can sing here, so I'm gonna have to implement a kind of more of a sing rap rather than just straight up rap. I don't think I've, other than the one track on mine and Ray's collab album, I don't think. Other than that, I don't think I'll ever straight up rap. So yeah, it was mainly just going into every song, thinking like, what's the best way to approach this beat with the lyrics that I've got for it. So, but yeah, the hook always came first on every song, and then there was a lot of songs scrapped. Like I had 33 other ideas that didn't make the album. 8 of which were finished songs, like written. Yeah, 33 scrapped ideas.
Are you gonna make those into like a secondary album, like a B cut, like a different side?
I'm making a deluxe edition at the moment. I sent one track to Lamb to hopefully get on for like a remix of it. I also want to do some remixes of a few of the songs because just for like just for fun, because like some of the songs I know a few were quite short, so that'd be cool. But yeah, there's a few songs that are cut which I might just throw onto the deluxe edition, but some of them are just gone forever because some of them were just straight ass. Yeah, no, there was 8 songs fully written, 11 songs which had hooks, and then just 30, the rest were just ideas that like never really like. That's what I was saying in one of the songs. I say like plus a million songs that I can never flaunt. It's just like I have so many songs which like I like get obsessed over the idea of it, and then I can never just like snap it into existence. So yeah,
and then it just stays unsung.
Yeah, it's just that's it. But I feel like if I was in a studio with someone sat next to me, they might convince me to actually like try and go for it more. Maybe if they heard it, maybe I have poor judgment with that because track 1 on the album wasn't. It was one I was thinking about cutting, but then the feedback for that's been one of the better received on the album. So yeah, I guess I'm wrong. So maybe I have poor judgment, but I might find out in Atlanta anyway with stuff like that, whether like working in IRL with people.
Judgment. You can't second your judgment. Stick to your gut. For this album, is there anything specifically that I know that, like I said, you did singing and rapping throughout it and such. Was there anything specifically that you think is, I guess, the main significant common factor throughout the album that strings it together, even amongst the different styles that you did choose?
So yeah, it's kind of I would say it's a concept album of a lot of things. Like there's a few concepts. So one of my favorite numbers is 3 or 13, and there is a lot of just threes just hidden front. There's a lot of just like
33 songs that didn't make the album cut.
I like.
Come on, Rogue. Come on.
There's a lot of threes. So 13 and track number 3 are my 2 favorite tracks on the album, and there's 3 chapters on the album as well. So there's the first 3 songs, then there's an interlude, then there's a few other songs, then an interlude again, and then that's So there's a lot of threes. But no, the main concept of topics is kind of like coming out of being a teenager, going into 20, thinking like time's running. To be fair, the Passives did a pretty good job of like explaining, figuring out what it was about.
Mm-hmm. For everybody that hasn't listened or has yet to listen, entice them with kind of how they might be able to relate in one way or another to the album. Especially if anybody that is just joining us, we are doing an interview of Rogue about his interview with Rogue for his new debut album that came out on Friday called Rogue Jeopardy. So maybe give them a little bit snip of what they might be able to relate to in the themes of the album if they haven't listened yet.
So there's the first. So the themes have been like not enough. Themes of that's one of the song titles. Not enough, like being not enough for yourself, because I mean life's the same old shit. That's track number 2. Number 3 is kind of like a what's even the point in going on anymore, like kind of track, but also being like really upbeat. There's themes of like mental health problems. There's themes of like being too nervous to like call up a girl, shit like that. There's themes of heartbreak as well. There's, I think the one track which is no one really has ever dove into the meaning of is "Face It," which I know that was like really well received by Miss Passive specifically. But yeah, they were like they didn't really understand the meaning. It was intended to be like a flip of the like every grey cloud comes a silver lining, kind of like, because sometimes you get a silver lining and then a fucking storm comes in. So it's kind of like every time. One of the lyrics is every time I settle down, I feel mutable, and it's kind of like as soon as I'm like happy, I'm like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? Kind of mode. So yeah, it's kind of a few things like that are on the album. Themes of loneliness, and yeah, I think it's mainly just like coming out of being a teenager, kind of like what's going to happen next, because I feel like I've got like zero direction, which is kind of like where I'm at the moment anyway. So, but yeah.
So throughout your album, it does seem like it goes through, a journey. Obviously between all the different themes, there's still that common factor, which you had just, touched on, that you still kind of don't know what the fuck you're doing, anything, or where you're going. As an artist, how do you hope listeners receive that message? And does it also help you to get that message out, to kind of figure out where the fuck you're going or what you're doing, or at least keep your mind busy enough while you figure it out? I guess, what do you hope your listeners take from that too, if they are also feeling that way? Are you hoping that this can be a kind of a, common message for them, to take that back or something of that sort?
So I'd say like when I'm listening to music, at least I'll always make my own meanings for songs, even if that's not specifically the meaning of the song. So I'll like relate it to something. I'll just, even if it's just one line in a song, I'll like make that like the meaning of it to me. So I hope people do that with my own music, because I left one on the title track. I leave the line open of like everybody around me is so like you can just decide for yourself like what it means to you. So I hope that people don't exactly just listen to what I have to say, and well, as in like what my meaning of the song is, and I hope they just make their own meanings for it, really, because that's kind of how I am with songs. But yeah, it does definitely making songs about stuff definitely like numbs things, because you can kind of like dance away the pain. So yeah,
I'm trying to give that message of it's gonna be okay, figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay. I'll just sit here and just vibe out my own track.
Gang, 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 gang.
Thank you for the follow. But that is an awesome message. That is most of the reason why I listen to music as well, and why I get into music is to help people. And I know that we've talked about this, but I guess for our bigger audience here, for you being an artist, actually, can you tell us what actually inspired you to start like writing and such? I know for me it was emotions.
Yeah. So I've literally, since the day I was born, I was like really big into music. Whether it was, I don't know where it exactly came from, but there's like a few ideas of like where I can, probably growing up on Disney films. My cousin made music. He even got, I showed you a few of his songs, I think, one time in voice chat. So yeah, he put me onto music very early. My sister, she played guitar. My dad always wanted to play the drums, so he bought me like Guitar Hero when I was younger, with the drum set and the guitar thing. So
fun.
And then when it came around to like writing my first song, which was actually at 7 years old, called Tiger in a Taxi, that was like that was cool. But then it wasn't well received at school, so that's why I didn't do anything for another 11 years. But yeah, when I turned 18, that was just after like the SoundCloud era. where I'd say like most of my inspiration for music comes from. And I just watched the Olivia Rodrigo documentary, Driving Home to You, because I was always like, I definitely want to pick up music one day again. And I saw someone who was making like genuine music about well, a few months older than me at least. This ago, so I instantly finished watching it, stayed up till about 4 a.m. and I wrote the song Out the Window, which was my first ever song that I released to Spotify, which is no longer on Spotify because DistroKid is stupid, but it's on YouTube. So yeah, that. But I'd say the main influences definitely, biggest one definitely Lil Peep. He was someone who like spoke about his feelings in songs, wasn't afraid to kind of show himself. Was on the verge. I was a fan before he died, but he was on the verge of blowing up, and then he just died, and I was that fucked me up for a few days. Juice WRLD's another one, also died, but I did expect that one. I'll be honest, as bad as it sounds. A lot of emo bands, so like My Chemical Romance, Paramore, Panic at the Disco. And I also have influences from like musicals as well, which I know that might sound weird, but like I think we were once talking about like the We Will Rock You musical. So obviously I like Queen. But like Hamilton, Frozen, funnily enough, that's one of my favorite musicals. I know but Disney is like a big part of my childhood, so a lot of influence does come from there. And yeah, but there's a lot of things I haven't mentioned there, but that's kind of like a rough where everything comes from.
Nice.
So
those have been your main influences in music total, and then I know that this album you said was influenced a lot by Juice WRLD and such specifically. Is there any specific? I know that obviously your album is about being okay, not knowing what the fuck you're gonna do. Like yeah. I'm sure that those artists like Little Peep and Juice WRLD have been at those points. Is there any kind of thing that you do specifically to try to stay motivated or keep going during those lower points in your life and career of music? I'm sure that you've gone through waves where maybe you didn't feel like making music and that's your release. Is there anything that helps you get through those that possibly other artists could lean on that might not have that?
I honestly I don't know how I get by. No, I will. When I'm having like that down spiral of like I don't even want to make songs right now, I will. Well, at the moment, I'm actually on that at the moment. I've just been I started learning piano, so that's one thing. But I've just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go back from my childhood, try and like regain momentum, try and like relive everything. So I watched a bunch of Disney films, then I watched a few documentaries. Like I rewatched the Olivia Rodrigo documentary. Yeah, I honestly I don't know how I get by, to be fair, but
that's kind of you're feeding your inner child by that almost, to kind of get the inspiration to go on with music.
Yeah, kind of. That's
what it sounds like.
But yeah, yeah, let it go.
So if there's those things, a lot of people don't go back to do those things from when they were a kid. Yeah, let it go. You got to. We'll always build a snowman if we're close to each other.
No, I really like Frozen because it's got some good themes of like it's very I know it sounds stupid, but it's very relatable because it goes from like. So I had family problems when I was younger with my sister, so I didn't speak to my sister for years. So to have that in a film, it was. I literally went 6 years without speaking to my sister at one point because we fell out. Long story, but yeah. So seeing someone who was like kind of lonely by themselves, like ignored by the sister, that was cool in film form, and it fights like depression and shit as well in the film. So that's why that's a great film, I'd say. And
It is the isolation, everything.
yeah, that's everything.
It is. It's a perfect. That's a perfect example of that exact 100%.
Yeah. I mean, all like films like that have like a really good message as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. For that, when you are going through those spouts or anything, you say you don't really know how you even get through it. If somebody doesn't know how, I guess, how has the collective, because you have joined WCR, and you have obviously, like, since you came, exponential growth and involvement, and your family,
Yeah.
how has the collective maybe helped you get through those times too, and what advice would you give to maybe an artist out there that doesn't have those other people around, or even anybody that might be dealing with, everybody deals with behavioral health, and it's okay to feel alone.
Yeah. I've DM'd people a few times, you included. So it's nice to have like people who care about shit. Like I every time, like, say if I'm literally gone for probably 6 hours on the Discord, I'll have someone DM me and like ask, "Am I okay?" Because I'm usually there all the time. I've been taking a bit of a back step at the moment, but yeah. So it's nice to know that like people do care. But I'd say the Discord, yeah, it is like a second family because, like, I mean, without even joining WCR server, my album would no way. First of all, I would have mixed it myself, and it would have been on Audacity. So you can guess how that would have gone. So yeah, the Discord has really helped, and if an artist out there who like doesn't have like a music family to go to, you definitely need one. That's like it's needed. I feel like you need that, someone who like gets it, because like I know everyone always has like creative down spirals, and you're like, oh, me too. So it's like it's not just you.
Yeah.
Having people like who have like relatability to like what you're going through and that. So to answer Liv's question, my go-to emo anthem is I write Sins Not Tragedies just because I love to scream whore before the chorus. I did it when I was younger to my mum, and it was quite funny, but she wasn't happy. Yeah.
Your favorite emo album?
Oh, my favorite album is probably The Black Parade.
Okay. All right. So for being part of the collective, since you've joined, I know you said without WCR, this album might not have came to fruition. Is there any other ways that being part of the group have influenced not just your album, but like your sound and all of that, since you have been doing music for so long? How has White Collar Rhymes influenced you as an artist outside of just your album, but actually your foundation?
So I would never really have dove into rapping type of beats if I was here. So I would have. That was the one thing. Oh, what up, Red? Sorry.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Red. Hello, Red.
Even so long. All right. Sorry. Totally caught off.
But yeah, so Feeling Low would have been the only song that even like leaned into rapping on the album if it wasn't for WCR. Because I was like here and I was like, everyone else is making rap music. I need to I feel like I don't fit in, so I need to lean into this a bit more. So that's definitely one thing. Plus, obviously doing a collab album with Ray, and got one in the works with Jacob, which I need to pull my socks up on because I've just been on that creative down spiral like recently, so that's the reason I haven't really been active on that at the moment. But yeah, the obviously we're doing an album with Ray. There's stuff that he's influenced, like his influences shine through, and some which mine shine through. So that's definitely two minds coming together to make a project rather than just me having my creative freedom. Right. So that was interesting. But yeah, as a whole, I'd say like a lot of influence comes from Jacob, Passive, Dice. Yeah, I mean, mainly those. I'd say those three are the ones that I take the most influence from. So especially Jacob helped probably with and assisting me around Ableton, showing me the ropes and everything.
Yeah, he's the Ableton king.
Yeah, the first time I installed Ableton, I was like going through stems, like, and I was like started dragging it around because I was like, oh, I can do this, and he was like, whoa, Rogue, where are you going with that? I was like, oh shit. But yeah, me and Jacob started talking because he heard Feeling Low on a review show and then asked if he could mix it, and then from then I was like, I need to hop in voice chat and say thank you. And I was literally just gonna jump in, say thank you, and then like dip because I never really spoke to strangers before on the internet, and I ended up staying in there for the rest of the day. So
for the rest of time.
Yeah, I'm still in voice chat right now.
Are you really in voice chat right now?
No, I'm not in voice chat right now.
I
But yeah,
surprised. Remember we had to time you out so you would go to sleep.
Yeah, I had to do that recently as well. But yeah, no, my sleeping habit isn't good because of where I work. Mainly, kind of like I don't want to go to work, so I'd rather just like be tired in the morning and like have more time before I have to go to work. So that's kind of what that is for you.
So for also being part of the collective, what do you think between the collective's music styles and the collaborations that you have done with different people? Because I know that you do a lot of different collaborations, even if they don't get released. I know that you dabble around in all the little channels. How would you describe your music style as compared to other people that you have encountered throughout the server?
I'm definitely more pop based than anything else. Defo influenced by emo rap, but I'd say I'm leaning away from that now. I'm definitely going more pop route rather than the rap route because I could have taken that like I don't know why I said taken like that, but yeah, I could have taken it either route, like kind of like leaning more into the rap or leaning more into like the pop, like the melodies on the hook kind of thing. But I'm definitely leaning towards the melodies on the like verse rather than just the hook now. In fact, I almost have my second solo album finished. It's just I haven't touched it in a while. Yeah,
you have 33 songs from this one. You have like 3 other albums.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of like I let an album sit with me for a long time, so just so I don't make that mistake. So I will revisit it in like a month's time and being like, if this song doesn't quite sit with me as well, that song's gone forever. I won't ever release that, but I will probably share it to some people because they might tell me I'm tripping or ask if they could like repurpose the song or something. I mean, one song that probably wouldn't be in line for a release is the one with Ray called Undertone, because it's not my style at all. I was just like, Ray was like, he's making an album, it's kind of like jazz rap influenced. And I was like, oh, I want to be on this project. Let's find a jazz rap beat and then make a song. And then I did the whole thing in like 40 minutes, kind of like just saying shit. And it was like basically, basically like a, no, it was basically, it wasn't a freestyle, but it was like, I was just going to say things that like was on my mind. And then he was like, oh yeah, I'll do a verse on this. He ended up singing on it, and then Bird called it a fucking banger on the review show. I was like, I'm kind of pissed because I put barely any effort into this. So yeah, that's definitely like But I wouldn't have done anything with that. Like that song wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for. But me just wanting to be on Ray's album, but then it ended up, and now it's going on the collab project anyway. So yeah, the original plan didn't work out. Nah, it's better. It's better this way anyway. But yeah, I'd say pop is my main sound.
Sound that differentiates. I know we don't have that many pop artists. Well, we do have a lot of different artists, but I feel like the majority of ours are more hip hop artists, and rap, and we actually I feel like have quite a bit of rock too, or like electronic too, for producers.
Yeah.
But for the project you're talking about, with the collab project and such, can you share any? Tell us about. I know that you just released your album. But I know we had, Vulgar asking about a Jacob album, and you didn't get to really speak on it. And can you tell us about any other, and you just talked about your solo album, any other upcoming projects? How many things do you have planned right now? It sounds like you have so many different things happening.
Yeah, so I have the collab project with Ray to come out, which is virtually done. I just need to re-record one song and actually record. Sorry?
Did you do an interlude on his?
No, we haven't talked about it. Well, it's a radio aesthetic, so we will be getting you for an intro track. Actually, I think I mentioned it before at one point.
Oh yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, so it's a radio theme.
Got my vocal.
So that's coming up. Collab project with Red. There's 9 songs on there. Then mine and me and Jacob are working on a project called SoundCloud Babies, which is kind of like SoundCloud influence in sound. If I check this, I think there's 4 songs done, but 2 of them the beat doesn't exist anymore, so that's brilliant.
Oh no.
So yeah, we need to like rethink that. But yeah, that's very early works because I've barely done anything recently on that. And then my next solo project, which I was thinking of maybe doing it in because there's 10 songs that are done, well, tweaks, and then obviously going to mixing. But they might end up being 2 5-song EPs because there's no real story to them. It's just kind of like 10 songs which I like that I've made. They're kind of just about random shit, so they might just end up being EPs because I don't think the story based enough for an album. Because the next
consecutive line.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good follow up to the first project because I feel like I want to keep the album thing to being like a concept rather than just releasing 10 songs. Like, because this next album would be a pop album. There's like a little bit of like tiny elements of rap in it, but it's just straight up pop. Other than that, I don't think anyone's heard anything of it. Once I have it up on notes, has anyone even heard any?
I don't know.
Oh no, there's
an all into
two songs that have been on the review show out of 10.
Okay.
A song called Virtue and a song called Stupid for You, which is already on Spotify. Actually, it's just I want to remake it, change the lyrics and everything. So, and obviously remix it. So, yeah, those are the only 2 songs which I think anyone's even heard. No, Jacob did mix another track on it. But yeah, I need to find a new feature for that. Yeah. But I would say beyond that, I kind of want to lean into alternative kind of sounding stuff, but not like fully rock, just like alternative inspired things, rather than I don't know. I don't really know. I'm learning piano. Hopefully, I could just produce my next project. Beyond that,
yeah,
I don't know. I'll just see wherever the wind takes me. Yeah, that would be the goal, but I don't know how.
Don't worry about beats.
Yeah, because it is annoying going through beats and then like, first of all, seeing the price of beats, Plus, you're not always getting 100% freedom of like you can't always like create the pockets to like. Whereas if you're making the beat yourself, you can create the pockets to like singing and that sort. Because you can't always say what you want to say, so that'd be cool. But I don't know really beyond those 3 projects. So yeah.
There's still a lot of projects in the works. Still a lot going on. So for your jumping back to your debut album, your Rogue Jeopardy, was there any specific challenges that you faced when you were recording the album?
Specifically the hook of running. So actually I don't know where that song came from originally, because I just had like a really bad demo of it recorded. Because it's one of them. I usually remember like where I wrote something.
Nash?
Yeah, the one we called in Ash. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where it came from, the hook of it. I just had it recorded and it was in the collabs channel, and it also had like a what's it called, like after a chorus there's like a second part. Yeah, it had like a bridge after the chorus, so I completely scrapped that bridge part. I was like, this would sound good in a higher octave. So then that day when I found it was on my week off in last July actually, and I recorded it in a higher octave, and I was like, it sounds okay. And then I shared it to Jacob, and he was like, yeah, you need to push this. I showed it to Lam as well. So then I was like, okay, I need to record layers on this because it was just a single layer, and I could not hit that note again. And it was the worst feeling ever. And I spent so long trying to re-hit that note until I eventually got it just good enough, I'd say, where it like on the where it sounds okay on the song. It could sound better though, I think. But yeah, I'm going for singing lessons starting Friday, so
nice.
Hopefully,
that's super exciting.
Yeah, hopefully I could maybe go back and re-record stuff and like IRC code stuff as well. So
yeah,
cool. But yeah, I'd say that's the main challenge on the album, that just recording that hook, because I spent so long trying to re-record it.
Was there any specific memorable, like your funnest, I guess, experiences in the album when you were recording?
It's always like the most satisfying thing about a song is like when the idea actually does make it, like it comes out exactly how you planned it, and that's always fun. So the idea for Face It, when I first got the beat, I was like, this is like a mix of so many things, because it was like it had that like rave influence on the beat, obviously, because Guns made the beat.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to like kind of bring a lot of elements together. So it was like definitely had like the Weeknd influence, but I wanted lyrically and like kind of the vocally to be like kind of Lil Peepish. So then putting all of that together and then it actually coming out the way it did, like especially with the mix that Bort did on it. So yeah, that was getting the mix back and hearing it. I was like, shit, this is.
Nice.
Oh, I was like, this is one of the best. Like, I'd say that's one of like when I heard it, I was like, this is the first time I've sounded like this on a song. So that was cool. But it's always like cool, just even like when I've mixed it myself, like just as a reference, it's cool hearing back like my idea actually on like in my ears, I guess.
Yeah, hearing it actually come to life.
Yeah, the worst feeling is like when you have an idea and it's just you realize, yeah, I maybe shouldn't make any more ideas.
Yeah, or if you get like the mix back and you're like, no. You're like, this is not how I thought this would sound. Definitely. Regarding your album, so you had, your memorable experiences would be getting, the mix back, especially for, your song Guns. Like you definitely.
Oh, I know feature verses as well, obviously.
And then what one?
Feature verses. So like just in every verse, I think that killed it. Loose was the first one. Oh no, Passive actually on Feeling Low. So he heard that song on the review show, and then like I was told to like kind of add a switch up, and I was like, I've had this song for a week now. I don't think I could change anything about it. And I was like, maybe I could get a remix. And then Passive just randomly DM'd me saying, yo, could you send me the beat after the song? And I was like, yep, take it away. And then he came back, and that was the second collab I ever did, I think. Yeah, because I'd done Bruce Wayne before that, which was with Takume, who that was, but I never spoke to him. He was just like I paid for him off some website.
Isn't that Bird's favorite song? Dice's.
Not so favorite, but no, Dice ended up popping on the remix of Bruce Wayne actually. But yeah, the feeling when Passive sent his verse back to me, that was the start of some like I never had that feeling as making music before, like where someone actually got what I was doing. If you mean, because he killed it, like, and then a week later he was like, "Oh, you can't use it," and I was like, "Fuck's sake." But yeah, no, he said like it was more of an idea of like what you could do, and I said I can't rap like that. Like I need this. If you don't give it me, I'm holding this ransom. So yeah,
just feature because I can't be you.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So yeah, that was a good feeling. Then I think the next one after that would have. Well, I need to pull up the track list myself. I don't know what.
I do have the
I'm trying to think
list.
of. Oh no, the next one after that was
features. Oh yeah, you have Jacob on Same Old.
Yeah, that was a 24-hour turnaround. He was originally supposed to be on that, but then he couldn't record because his mic stand was broke. Then I was gonna get Lam on it, but then Lam a few months later just messaged saying like, oh, he recorded his verse, but it wasn't how he wanted it to sound, so he just never sent it. And then it came to like the day of uploading the album. I was like, Jacob, please could you help me out here? And then yeah, he came back 24 hours. I think he killed it there. Especially 24 hours. It was like the perfect verse. Yeah. Obviously Ray with the interlude, because originally when I made wrote the album, I had an hour in whether it goes on there, because I'd originally recorded it. I was like, I'm gonna get Ray because he's like the he's the go-to. Like he just has that voice which like kind of like sells the emotion. So
he does.
Shout out Ray for that.
Woo, shout out
Then obviously Passive, which I've already spoke about. Loose. So originally that song had Tossako from the review show on, who has been accused of stealing Juice WRLD lyrics before.
Sorry.
But his verse was played on the review show on the old Friday show while Loose was on. And he was like popping his head all song, then his verse comes on. Everyone just sat there just like. So yeah. And then he said like, kick him off, get me on it. And I was like, no hesitation. I was like, yep.
Like that. Bet.
So yeah, that was cool. Then obviously Gons with the 2 beats, which it made for me like specifically, so that's always gonna sit well. And Cody was crazy because that song was in the collab channel, and I was in Florida at the time, and he was like, anyone got anything they want me to jump on? And I was like, I've got something in the collab channel. And then so I was at SeaWorld on the day. I literally remember the moment, and like probably 20 minutes after I'd said that, he popped his verse in there with stems. I was like, what the fuck? And you would think he spent like a week writing this verse, because it's like proper heartfelt of like, obviously he spoke about on his album about like things he was going through. But it was insane how like the turnaround time for that, like. And then I was like, okay, I need to listen to this. Sorry?
Nash is fast.
Yeah, it's so insane. I literally went to the bathroom in SeaWorld just so I could like listen to it just like up to my ear, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to get to work on this as soon as I get back. So yeah, that was that was insane. But it's always a good feeling when like someone actually matches the song, which I feel like everyone on the album literally killed their feature. So yeah,
You had a
that's
lot
always
of really good features. A lot of good features in there.
yeah. I was like, I need to. Well, I originally there was more features, but I felt like it was too crowded because after all it is my album. So I was like, I need to cut down this track list because originally there was about. Well, my favorite number is 13, so I always wanted like 13 songs on there, and there was 16, and 3 were cut like very late stages, and then I added the interlude to make it 14. So the 13th thing kind of went out of the window, but there's still 13 songs on there. Just one spoken interlude as well.
13 and an interlude.
Well, there's 2 interludes, but one of them's actually a song.
Leave You Behind's already got almost 10,000 plays on it.
Yeah, that's a Finland bot playlist, though. I'm not going to try and.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I hate it when. So I email a lot of playlists.
For sure. You got to develop your music. That's how artists. When you get 0.003 cents a stream, you have to.
Yeah. But yeah, I email a lot of playlists, and with that song, unfortunately, I think I may have emailed a bot playlist, or or something like somehow got there, and then yeah. So well, I'm pretty sure it was a bot playlist because Finland. I just all of a sudden had 2,000 streams in one day from Finland. And I was like, that is dodgy from only 800 accounts. So I was like, that's definitely a bot playlist. Yeah, so
I really like it in Finland.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a possibility, but I just assume it's bots. I'm like, because usually when Face It was doing well, I knew it was real because I was gaining like 10 followers a day on Instagram and shit like that. And I had people message me where it was like, leave you behind with. I did get a few messages, but then it kind of slowed down. I got more followers from the song with the less streams, so I know that one was like legit and the other one wasn't. So yeah, but it definitely hurts to see fake streams on a song because I feel, even though it was unintentional, it just doesn't feel right. So yeah, that's one thing. I'd say that's the most annoying thing about being an artist, like getting fake streams on a song.
Yeah, because you can't really control if it ends up not being a real playlist, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just trying to do like, I mean, there's so many different playlists and stuff that you can use to promote your music and people that make them, curators and such, when it's not actually bots or like farming and stuff like that, where it's actually legit,
Yeah.
Like the Spotify Discovery, stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually have a campaign at the moment with
nice.
that. Well, the showcase. It's only been running today, and so far 28 people have clicked on the album. So
nice. Well, that's good for one day.
Yeah,
it is, especially for the first day. For in that aspect, how do you use for any artists out there that might find this helpful, how do you use like online platforms like that, different promotions, stuff like that, to help push your music, including social media? Like, how would you give a rundown of the best way or some advice on how you use that stuff?
So I hate social media, I'll be honest. I despise it with a passion. Like, if you see my private Instagram account, there is no posts on there. You can't find any information about me. Same with my Facebook. Just a black screen as the profile picture. I don't like social media, but obviously being an artist, you kind of have to. Otherwise, no one hears your music. But the one song which blew up from social media wasn't even one of my posts, and it was actually from a Kazakhstan influencer with 4 million followers. He randomly had a song over the same that's no longer on Spotify called.
You broke up. It was the same name.
So yeah.
Okay, sorry, you were breaking up. You
Oh,
said it
sorry.
was actually a different user with a bunch of followers, and then you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, so it was a Kazakhstan influencer with 4 million followers, had a song of the same beat as mine, and because of that, people Shazammed it, and I had like I think I had 12,000 Shazams, and I was like, holy shit! And then it started blowing up, but the song is awful. That's the thing. But people have found it, so I was like, maybe social media is the way forward, because people will Shazam something if they like the sound of it. But yeah, I did remove it from Spotify because it was annoying me that like that song would show up first. Because if people click on that, they're gonna like, I don't want to listen to any more music by this guy.
Yeah.
Because the mix on it was an Audacity mix. So yeah, and it was completely different to anything. It was a house track, so yeah, I ended up just removing it. But yeah, social media, I need to do more. I'd say TikTok and Instagram Reels are definitely the place where I need to be more active. It's just like I don't think I've never shown my face on my social media, so I need to break that duck eventually and just kind of like make content, because it's easier to record yourself than edit something like on the computer. So I need to get past that and then kind of start sharing things on there.
Especially if you don't have to like do your makeup and stuff, you can just hop on.
I might need to brush my hair for once though.
Maybe it might just look wild. It just looks good. So social media definitely important for pushing your stuff. Would you recommend artists to use different like streaming services to help get on playlists? Like, in what service do you use a specific site?
So I have the DistroKid Pro. Wait, one second. I'll find what it's actually called. Great. No, the DistroKid Ultimate, which gives you the playlisting feature. So you get loads of emails from different playlists and Instagram handles as well. And for Face It with Gons, I was like, I need to do this properly. So I went through, gathered, I think I have 176. I didn't have it at all of these right at that point, but I think I gathered over 100 playlists, and I just emailed every single one with an individual message, so it was like customized to them. And it was the most draining experience of my life, but it paid off because it got a few thousand streams. But I probably want I did it a little bit with I didn't customize every message with the song with Loose. That song did better stream wise, but I do think a lot of them were that Finland bot playlist. But I ended up emailing 176 playlists for the song with Loose.
So definitely try to use a template if you can. Oh no, I can't hear you.
Can't hear me.
Now I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so it's annoying going.
Shit, try to use a template.
Yeah, definitely use a template, but it is still annoying, like clicking through every single email, selecting them, typing them in, and everything. That is the worst feeling ever. But yeah, that is a decent way of getting streams, but it's a lot of effort.
Yeah, for sure. I know that you obviously submit your stuff to WCR's, Wednesday review show, and have, different artists also inside of the community listen to it. Do you submit to other shows like Ghost House, other shows that we collaborate with?
I don't submit anywhere. Really. I barely even submit on the Wednesday show because I'm kind of. Wait, sorry.
I said it's a lot sometimes.
It's mainly because the engineer, because I probably won't really release anything which I'm engineering myself, and if I am, then it'll go to a review show. But if I'm releasing something, it's usually going to an engineer. Like with my album Dice, he's on the review show, so he could just do that for me privately, and then
Right.
getting his like opinion on that. So that was good having him. Same with like Bort, he can like say like, oh, I prefer if he did this something. Same with Jacob will do it as well. Saying like, could you like re-record this layer or something, or add an ad lib here or something. So yeah, I'd say I don't really submit to the review show just because I'd rather people hear it for the first time when it's released, rather than because it's always like cool. Like I tried to keep most of my album like a surprise, so like no one had heard it, which I didn't do very well of because like, I think there's like 7 songs which were on the review show. But yeah, but I would say for people who don't have an engineer who are looking for engineering tips and stuff like that, that's definitely an avenue to go down. I've only submitted to Ghost House other than WCR, who I submitted the song with Loose Logic and he really liked it. So, nice. But I'm never awake for the time that's on, so
is there
it's hard to submit. I haven't really gone out search. I wouldn't have ever thought of review shows if it wasn't for WCR. So
for sure. How do you handle criticism or feedback from fans or peers like and on the review show?
I go into a corner and cry. No.
Same.
It depends because usually I don't know what I want from feedback sometimes. So I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm kind of like, is this faceable? I don't even know what I'm wanting from most of like the feedback. So I'm kind of, I don't know what to take from the feedback I get sometimes, but like sometimes it's helpful. I will. I'm trying to think of an example. But so the one thing I don't particularly like is when I'm like saying this song is unfinished, mix needs work, and then the feedback is the mix needs work. But but I'd say the best criticism is usually like this line doesn't fit here or something. I'd recommend change when it's a lyrical change. That's the best feedback I'd say that like you can get. So that usually makes me go back and completely like restructure things. But when it's like something on the mix, I'm like, well, the mix is rough anyway. Someone else is going to be mixing this when it gets released. So I'm kind of like, with that, I'm not offended. Because I know some people do take it to heart. They're like, oh, this mix is perfect. Like, I think someone on the Friday show once was like that in the chat. And like, well, it's not because none of us liked it. But
yeah,
no, I do handle criticism pretty well. Sometimes better than others. Sometimes I don't handle it well, but it depends. Just kind of like
back.
what the.
Like, fuck you.
Fuck you. This is my song, not yours.
Kidding, but yeah, no, it's definitely hard. It's definitely hard, especially hearing honesty, because a lot of us artists don't actually get that. Like our family and stuff are generally like, "Oh yeah, this is great,"
without even listening to it as well sometimes.
Right. Or
because
or you have a family that's like, you're gonna waste your life doing this,
So I one time sent a song to one of my mates, and I'm an absolute psychopath. I was an absolute psychopath at the time. I probably still am. But no, I sent it to him. Then like within 30 seconds, he came back saying, "Oh, this is a banger," and I was checking my Spotify for artists. The streams didn't go up. He didn't listen to it. He just said it was a banger. So I was like, from that point, I'm not going to send it to people. There's no point. So yeah. So it's cool to actually have people who will actually listen to the song and then say the feedback and give honesty, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think that's probably the best way to grow too, like as an artist, because like you'll never grow if you don't hear where you lack, because nothing's ever perfect.
Yeah.
For sure. Do you have any specific rituals or routines you do before you go record?
I turn this way and then I hit record. That's I didn't originally. But then someone in voice chat was saying that they do vocal warm-ups, and I was like, what do you do to warm up with your vocals? And then they were like, share this video, and then I started doing that. And I also have this that I got at Christmas. It comes in, I'll share what it is actually once it comes out.
Is it a tuner?
It's a whistle, a vocal. What's it called? Vocal strain whistle. So it's like you can. Honestly, I probably use it wrong, but I use it. But yeah, it like helps with like vocal strain. I think. I don't know what it does, but I use it correctly.
Your chords, maybe. Do you have to blow into it like a trumpet, like how you would do your warm-up?
You blow into it, and then it like. So the way I think it works is kind of you blow into it, and then it tells. There's 3 holes on it, and if you press 2 of the holes, and then you blow into it with like the pressure, that'll show you where your vocal. Like if your vocal hurts, then you're doing it wrong, and then that's kind of like the way that you're supposed to use the same like
tell if you're
windpipes when you're singing.
Okay.
It tells you like what's like kind of working. So I do that every so often, but I've kind of like stopped using it recently. I just kind of, well, recently. I mean, I haven't recorded in, which feels like a long time, but I know it isn't actually that long.
Yeah, when you're making a lot of music and then you take any kind of pause, it feels like like it's been forever. Even if you're working on little stuff, if you're not putting stuff out, definitely.
Yeah, but my recording process is, I'll find a beat. 90% of the time, the melody comes first, which is why it's always nice when like people actually acknowledge that I have melodies, because that's the main thing which anything comes from. It's kind of I sent Ray a song of just me throwing on a beat. First thing that comes to mind, just kind of into the mic with speaking in the Sims language. I call it kind of just. There's some words in there. It's just usually just mumbles, and then I'll find the words afterwards. But then there is the odd song which lyrics come first. Especially the song with you. Actually, no one's heard. I don't think anyone's heard it. Anxious.
I don't think so.
But yeah, the lyrics came first on that because it was more. It was a verse rather than a hook. Because usually I do hooks. So yeah, the hooks always come from melodies first. Apart from one song on the album, "Same Old Shit." But it's not called "Same Old Shit." It's called "Same Old." But the hook was lyrics first rather than melody first. But other than that, it was just all melodies first, and find the words afterwards. But,
how many hooks do you feel that you have compared to verses that are unsung?
I have so many Ableton sessions of a beat where it's just a hook. It is unreal, and I feel like I need to start shipping stuff out because I have hooks are the like I genuinely, if I get sent a beat, I can do a hook probably 10 minutes, and usually it's well received. Whereas if I'm sent a verse, I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do. I get lost. Like I could just retire and become a hook artist sometimes. I feel, but no, I need to work more on verses because hooks definitely are my strong point. I'd say, and bridges as well. They come quite easy, but other than hooks and bridges, yeah, I'd stay on Ableton. I will have probably at least at the very minimum 40 to 50 hooks just without anything done on the rest of the song. But the reason I haven't shipped anything out is kind of like because the hook isn't a general hook. It's kind of like a person. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of. I can't see a feature on most of them. But maybe that's just like I could just tweak the lyrics and then it could fit with something else. But yeah,
you could Use your hooks as samples.
But yeah, could always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would end up doing that. Get a hold of Splice.
Well, I know that if I was to tragically pass away, then a label would have a lot of fun doing stuff with all them hooks. I know that. So
They'd have stuff forever. Hooks for days. Hooks for
yeah.
years. Is there, with your, hooks, I know you said that with your music, the melodies come first most of the time. Is there any specific personal stories or experiences that have shaped your lyrics or songwriting process that you do?
Honestly, I barely. Well, my album, I didn't. I lied one. There's a single lie on the entire album, and it's not even like that serious. But I'll let people decide for themselves what that lie is. But there's a single lie on the entire album. So every lyric on there comes from like experience. I think on a collab project with Ray, I'm pretty sure everything's. I'm trying to think. Is there a single? I don't think there's really a lie on there. The cubicle. No, the cubicle. No. Right, so the cubicle lyrics is true because at work, if I'm feeling stressed, I will go and lock myself in the cubicle and breathe. So that is a true. That's a true line.
Mm.
One sec, let me pull up the Rock Radio track list. No, there's a song about lying about lyrics, so maybe that's not true because I don't really. But no, I'd say most lyrics do come from life rather than on my next solo project. That's the problem, that most of the lyrics are just.
Do you
whatever.
feel certain events like heartbreak and such kind of fuel your writing more?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Other things,
And
that's yourself more creative.
If Passive, well, no, as Passive said, the album felt like a curse, but it was also, if it wasn't for the curse, it wouldn't exist. So, like, because it was obviously about like shit. If that didn't happen, the album wouldn't exist. So it's kind of like, yeah, it might be a curse, but it's also the thing that brings it about. So, is it the happy lyric? Jacob's asked. I'll let you answer that for yourself. But yeah, I don't know where the melody thing comes from. I guess it's just like I listen to a lot of music, so like I get a lot of different style. Obviously, a lot of difference. I'd say I have one of the most diverse tastes in music out there. I can go from listening to like
Taylor Swift,
metalcore to a Taylor Swift song to a song from a musical to a song about wanting to like jump off a bridge, basically. So yeah, it's I don't have any like limits with that, so I'd say that's the I don't know where it comes from. That's probably my biggest problem, actually. I don't know where shit comes from.
Where the melodies come from?
Yeah, it's probably just I listen to a lot of music, so I take things from here and there and kind of just put it all together.
Yeah.
Because I have accidentally so I didn't intentionally do it, but on my verse for Leave You Behind, the first part of the verse is literally the melody's the exact same as what's it called? Reminds Me of You. It's Juice WRLD and the Kid Laroi. It's literally the exact same melody as Juice WRLD's verse, and I'm like, oh shit! But luckily I switched it up. So, but it's not the same lyrics or anything. It's just the same melody. But like I realized that afterwards, rather than doing it by an accident. Like it was done by an accident. So
I mean, I think that happens with music, with anything in the world. Nothing's really original except for the first thought ever.
yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah,
But
true.
yeah, definitely cool to see the different influences and just the different melodies you do come up with. Like even watching you, help me with some of mine, like you
Yeah.
just have a very good knack for it, which is, a lot of people don't have that. Um, so definitely for anybody that might struggle with, coming up with melodies, do you have any advice that you would give them on if they're, blocked or stuck on something, like just something that you do?
With melodies, I'm never blocked. It's lyrics that I'm
Mm.
always blocked on. But like melodies, literally, I could go through like 100 beats, find a melody for each one, but lyrics, probably find them for 3.
And when
So
you're blocked on lyrics, I guess then we'll take it that way. When you're blocked writing, is there any
I
thing
will.
to break that block that you could maybe another artist might be able to take as part of their toolkit?
So yeah, one thing that I picked up from the Olivia Rodrigo documentary when I first watched it is she said, when you're writing a song, make sure you always finish it, even if it's not your best work, because you could come back the next day and you'd be like, wait, this is fine. My mind was just telling me it's not fine. And she also said, like, allow yourself to write garbage sometimes, and allow, because you can edit a garbage page, you can't edit a blank page. So that's one thing that I will always like. I'll try and finish it, but sometimes it's just filler, all filler, no killer. So yeah, but then there's also the struggle of coming back to it and editing it. So it sometimes it works like a treat, but sometimes I'm like, I can't hear anything else here. So, but yeah, I'd say that's the one piece that I've picked up that I'd say like I'd share with anyone.
I think that's some good advice. Finish your song basically in one sitting. I'm guessing to keep that same energy, because if
Yeah,
you
to
don't
keep
finish
the
it, you
like,
might
because you can't
finish it.
feel, you're not guaranteed to feel the same moment as you are in that
Mm,
moment. So
that's very good advice. Allow yourself to write garbage. I think that's huge. You always think
that's
that. Lyrics are always
great
something
advice.
that fit into beats. Like my stuff that I first write is never ever the same as, as it started, and it sucks because sometimes I'm like dedicated to certain lyrics. I'm like, I can't change this. I'm like, I like this how it is, but it always seems to work out. Um, have you ever performed live, or are you just recording
I've
on?
done karaoke.
You you've
I no,
done karaoke.
I've performed one song live, but it was the song which I was when I was 7. So that's
Mm.
the only song I've ever done live.
Would you perform live? Is that part of one of
Yes,
your dreams?
I keep searching to find somewhere like local, but there's nowhere that accepts. It's always you need to have an indie band, and that's
Have you
it.
looked
'Cause
into
they
singing
are.
in any bands?
I wish I was in a band, but um,
Calling
yeah,
all
I
local
don't know anyone.
Burnley. We need the band.
No, because the hardest thing to find in a band is a drummer. Everyone
Hmm.
always has a singer, so I'm like, kind of yeah, I couldn't really do anything because they've already got a singer. So
If you were, say, performing, is there any like dream venues or like festivals that you would love to perform at in the
well, this is awkward.
future? What happened? Sorry, y'all.
I
I
got,
don't know what happened. I think we're good.
yep. Okay, one sec.
Maybe. All
I'll
right.
finish your name. There you
Oh, really
go. I was like sat there, I was like, oh, well, this is awkward.
that was like that the whole time, right?
Yeah.
All right, where we were asking, no idea what happened, guys. I hope we're still good.
Dream venues,
Um,
you said.
any dream venues or festivals, any place that you would love to go play at, sing at?
Okay, so I have some weird dreams, which I'm guessing you're gonna ask like what my dreams are anyway after. So I'll leave that out until you ask. But I would love to perform at the O2 Arena because it's the stadium which is closest, like the big stadium which I always go to watch. I'd just love to like stand there and be like, oh, I sat up there once. That'd be cool. I want to perform at a festival like Leeds Fest because that's like the big festival over here, or Glastonbury.
Mm.
And also I know it's gonna sound weird, but I'd love to have involvement, or whether it mean just perform in a musical. I never had that. Like, I almost, if it wasn't for the thought of being bullied in school, I would have applied for that. There was a musical, and it was the Phantom of the Opera, and I almost wrote my name down, but I didn't. And I kind of like,
musical.
if I would have had different friends, I would have. Well, I'm not even friends with them anymore, anyway. So like, fuck them. But yeah, I would have wrote my name down, and I would have been in Phantom of the Opera, probably. But yeah, I'd like to do a lot of. I know there's a lot of pressures that come with touring. I've seen so many artist documentaries that said that like you love it for the first few days, and then after that, it kind of goes downhill with like pressure and everything. So I definitely have to have breaks in between. I couldn't just. But I like traveling, so because I'd love to like tour in Europe, go to like Finland, Norway. Like Norway's a place I really want to go to, just because I like the area. I've seen like pictures. It looks like a really nice place.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to go to Tokyo. That's one place. My dream destination is Tokyo. Of just not even just performing, just going there in general. I just love I love the idea of Japan.
Have you ever dabbled in K-pop?
Sorry?
Have you ever dabbled in K-pop?
Yes, I like a few K-pop bands. BTS, Elitic. Oh, I can't remember the other name. I need to find out what they're called. Loser equals. They have a song called "Loser Equals Lover." I don't listen to like all the music. It's just like Tomorrow X Together TXT. That's the name of them. I like them. And yeah, BTS obviously. I like a few of the individual members in there as well. But yeah.
Nice. So Tokyo, or you said Norway. Did you say Finland? For all
Finland. Yeah, just
listeners?
Europe in general.
You have fans in Finland.
Yeah, all the listeners in Finland.
You should probably go book a venue. You should definitely look up for some bands or something like that near you. There might be something like that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do a musical in Georgia. We could remake it.
Yeah.
I have tapes.
Let's just make White Collar Rhymes the musical.
Yes.
Tell the story of like how the entire like collective came together. That'd be cool.
Phantom of the Opera. Yes. For you know, obviously you haven't performed since you were 7. If you were going to perform, do you karaoke ever when you go out?
Yes, I karaoke. I love karaoke.
You love karaoke? Oh, we should karaoke when you're here. What are your go-to karaoke songs?
I have a few. That's What You Get by Paramore. 9 in the Afternoon by Panic at the Disco. And recently I did Save That Shit by Lil Peep, just because it's very easy, and we didn't have lyrics up, and I know the lyrics to it, so I was like, that's the one that I'm going to have to do. Because usually...
You have a little Peep vibe, too. You do.
Yeah. Yeah.
After I heard him, I was like, oh yeah, he sounds like Rogue. I'm like, well, I guess Rogue sounds like him.
But yeah, I sound like him, yeah. But I don't, vocally I don't, but I mean like the style wise, yeah.
The style, yeah, for sure. So those are your go-to karaoke's.
Yeah. I also say like The Killers, anything. I'll do anything really. I'm kind of like, because sometimes there isn't always like the song choice, so I'll have to do like something older, so I'll go to like a Billy Joel song or a Prince song or something, or Queen, but I barely Queen because I ain't Freddie Mercury. Only Freddie Mercury can do Freddie Mercury, so yeah.
Freddie Mercury's a challenge. He's very hard.
Yeah, definitely.
For the album, going back to the album again, what is your personal favorite song on the album? I didn't ask you that.
Track number 3, I think title Cut Loose, I think. But now I'm kind of like, maybe it is Running with Cody.
Okay.
I'm guys between the two. Between those two.
I know that you had Passive and Miss Passive really enjoy Running.
Yes.
I know that you were sharing a clip with me. Did you want to share that clip with the audience from their show?
Yeah, shout out. What's that?
You can share it on the screen. I think you have screen share ability, right?
Yeah, I think if I just...
If it works, we'll go ahead and see a little bit of part of the album listening that took place.
Yeah. I could find it on the actual stream, then share the part of the stream. That'd be the best idea.
Sure. Well, we can do
because I know the
later.
The audio is going to be weird if I.
Oh
wait, one sec. Okay.
That Running was both of their favorites.
No, Miss Passive had a different favorite. Her favorite was Face It, but Running got the best reaction. So
Face It, you're gone. That was almost 6,000 streams.
Let's go back.
I know that you also shared your Rogue Jeopardy name. Where did Rogue come from, period, as your artist name?
I said before about kind of someone called me, they said Joe's gone rogue, and then I kind of took it from that. Okay, I've got it. I found the moment on the stream. My interface is fucking up, so my words don't match my mouth right now. So I'll try and fix that.
I can try to.
Well, I'll move the. Wait, how do I? Okay, just turned off chat while we show this.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the hook on Running, which Passive specifically. Can you hear it?
I don't know why it's so hard to just see me, and I hope we try and we break through the sea. Baby, don't you lie to me? I don't got no sympathy. Tears don't mean a thing to me. Think to me when you're gone. Yeah, show me what you really mean. Blame it on the way I think, but you know what you did to me.
This is a great set. I love this.
Yeah, where you at? When I call you, don't call me back. I know that I was.
This part, I don't know what Passive was doing.
How does it make you feel to watch people react like that to your music, regardless if they're your friends or not? To watch them dancing like that, and just really feeling your music, how you're portraying it.
I never thought I'd ever have anyone react to one of my songs like that, and it was insane. Like, obviously, I knew the song was like one of those which you could kind of like belt out in your car, like driving late at night. You'd kind of like in the feelings, and then you'd be like, "Baby, don't you lie to me?" Because that was always the intention with that. Like when I recorded it in the higher octave, it was like it's kind of like an alternative sounding hook, like, but on a more of a pop R&B type of beat. What's that? Let me fix my interface. This is kind of annoying. I'm like seeing what I'm speaking.
Turn that off. I'm used to my TV being like that. I loved watching that though. That was very it was touching to watch somebody react like that to your music. I love that. They just said, I was like, okay, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know what Passive was doing afterwards. He was like going like
Get into it. Doing the Passive.
As soon as the song finished, they instantly just like went through it and just scrolled all the way to the back before even giving feedback. So that was cool.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that was a good feeling. Because when they said they were going to react into it, I was like dreading it all week just in case they hated it. I'm always like that, to be fair. I'm always like really negative about like people are going to hate this. So yeah, it was good that they actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, seeing people hear it and not tear it apart, it's great, you
Yeah.
know. Especially you haven't done anything live, so that's almost like having that live reaction that's not like a not like the review show. That's like, you know, the live listener reaction. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that.
I'm glad that they actually followed the story pretty well. They got like 90% of what they said right about like everything. So I'm glad that I made things understandable. Other than the Alice part, because I don't know who who Alice is, but fuck Alice.
But fuck Alice.
Yeah.
For being in music, you know, you've been doing stuff since you were 7. You did your first recording. What's the longest hiatus you've taken not doing music in that span?
Oh, from 7 to 18.
From 7 to what?
18.
Okay, so you did that little bit of music and then you continued to write though?
Nope. I basically, so when I did Tiger in a Taxi, I got teased the fuck out of at school. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing music until I leave school. And then once I finished school, lockdown happened. I did write a song during lockdown. It was just a verse. It is terrible, but I still have it. I listen to it every so often because I'm like, I recorded this through my laptop's speakers at the time, so that was it's just funny to listen back to. But then after that, no, there was a song that I did record during school, but it was terrible. I'll be honest. But yeah, other than that, the first song was out the window because it was like the first song that I bought a mic for. I literally paid someone to mix it for me. So yeah, when I was 18, I'd say that because those other 2 songs were kind of like just me trying things, nothing worked, and then it turned 18. I kind of had like a direction of what I wanted to do because it was an Olivia Rodrigo type beat. So even though it wasn't Olivia, she wouldn't even touch that beat. So I don't know where that came from, but yeah,
It was meant to happen, brought you back into music.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's just what's called Olivia Rodrigo type beat.
Yeah.
For so you coming back to music at 18, I know that you joined our server at 19.
Yeah.
You weren't that far off when you had joined.
I'd only made 5 songs prior to joining the server.
You were still fairly a new comeback kid when you joined WCR. For those that don't know the WCR folklore of Rogue Jepson, we can possibly dive into that for a second without bringing up the G name.
Yeah. Okay. So
closest you can.
Okay, let's. I'll start from the beginning. So I made a couple of songs. I was barely even taking music seriously, to be fair. Kind of. I'd done Out the Window. Then I released that in August. Then I was like, oh, I'm gonna write an album, a pop punk album that was just kind of like inspired like Avril Lavigne, Blink-182 kind of music. So I had done 2 other songs, Girl Next Door and Stupid For You, but Stupid For You was not pop punk. It was just a straight up pop song, which I plan to re-release in the future with a new mix on. And then after that, I kind of got bored of the idea of just doing a pop punk album. So then I did an EDM track, well, a house track called Easy Life, which is the one which blew up in Kazakhstan. Then I did this song called Are We Just Friends in December. So in the space from August to December, I did 5 songs. Then in January, I got hit by a producer who heard Stupid For You, who sent me this beat, and I was like, this is a beat. And then I made the song Bruce Wayne over that. Then it really, I mixed it myself, but I got the feature on it. It came out in February. Then it was the March that I joined the server. I got invited to the server by some random person who sent me the link. And then the first thing I said after joining the server was, when's the Among Us movie joining out? So everyone probably thought I was a troll straight off the bat. But yeah, I sent in Stupid for You as my first song. You hated it because you thought it sounded creepy. Dice actually, I thought Dice hated it, but no, Dice actually didn't have a problem with it. It was
your first review was better than mine.
Yeah, it was okay received. It was, I think you and someone else didn't like it, but Bird and Dice kind of had positives to say about it, I guess. And then the week after, I submitted Bruce Wayne, and I will never forget the argument. I sometimes go back and just watch it just because it's funny. Bird.
Didn't you redo it just to spite Bird?
Yeah. Dice got on it just to spite Bird.
He's so petty. He's the pettiest person I know. I swear to God.
So but yeah, Dice defended that track with his life, and I was like, okay, this is cool. But, then obviously I carried on submitting until we got up to the track Feeling Low, where that's where I became friends with Jacob, and then carried on from there.
Yeah. From there, it's kind of just history, huh?
Yeah.
WCR folklore, folks. And another random person that came into the server and ended up family.
Yeah, because I never even thought about using Discord before.
Square up and stuff too. Because you came on to shows after that.
Yeah.
It was the Friday show, and you did the Square Up. Yeah.
Yeah, because
again, it was what, right at the end of last year?
Wait, sorry?
Middle? When did you join our server? Middle of last year?
March last year.
March, yeah, middle-ish, beginning.
So what day was it actually? I think it was 12th of March or something. How do I see?
I know that it was after the cipher. I know you weren't in the cipher.
Oh, 29th of May. Sorry.
You were right after Ray, a couple months.
Oh no, 18th of March. 18th of March.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not too far after. The rest is history. Now you're here. Now you're co-host on the Sunday show and everything. You do a lot of stuff.
Meeting in real life.
Tuesday show. You've done a lot of shows.
R.I.P.
Is there a chance of a Tuesday revival?
Probably not, because Ryan doesn't exist anymore. Basically, and MCD's job's different, so MCD's job's changed. Well, he's not job's changed. So his wife's back at work now, so she can't look after the child anymore, so he can't do it. So it'd just be me and Nils, and if you know Nils, he's
the interview.
Yeah, Nils is he streams it by himself, but he hates doing it. He doesn't know why he does it. So yeah, it'd just be me and Nils, and it's kind of the thing that made the Tuesday show was all four of us being on there, 4 different takes on music, and then just kind of having fun reacting to it. Could either be a really good song or a really bad song. You never know what you're getting into, so
never know what you're gonna get. Always keeping it spontaneous.
Yeah.
You guys get some crazy stuff. You went through a lot of stuff with that show. And I like that you did the intro. I love your intros for those. You make really, really good content. Very good content, especially for social media. You're one of the social media gurus. Is there any specific advice you give about social media? I know I already kind of asked about using it to propel you, but I'm talking about, content creation. Any specific notes you could give listeners that might be, needing to actually make content too?
I'll be honest, it was all MCD who did all of that, basically.
Okay.
So I couldn't even...
The intro?
I used... Yeah, it was... So I made the intro for the Friday show.
Yeah, the iCarly intro. Well, yeah, the Tuesday show is MCD stuff. I'm talking about Friday stuff that you did. because I just when the Sunday show, I think that you guys had used it. I was like, oh yay, I love the
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah, it's gone now because Dice hates it. So
I was like, I need to fix my shit.
Dice is like the Grinch, so he removed the intro, so we can't use it on the Sunday show anymore. But yeah,
Please.
it was kind of just like the vibe on Friday show was always really like nice because we'd have like a dance track submitted every so often. So I was like, it's quite wholesome there, so let's just make it feel even more wholesome with an iCarly intro. So
Yeah, I love that intro. It's great.
yeah, it took me 6 hours to make when I made
I
it.
feel like that's another way that you kind of let your, inner child take over.
Yeah.
Like when you watch your stuff, that specific thing kind of like brings you back home.
Yeah, obviously growing up on iCarly.
Yeah, for
one
sure.
of the shows that I watched growing up. So
Definitely younger than me, but I definitely watched it at one point right before I got past that age. For going forward too, looking at, obviously you said the Tuesday show is kind of different, the Sunday show is happening right now and such. Where do you see, your podcasting or your goals, your dreams for your music going? What are your dreams? I didn't even ask that after your question.
I have so many goals that are so unrealistic, but I'll say them anyway. So my main goal is to not be too famous, just kind of make enough to. I've already got a song with UVA that's I've done the hook for, so. But no, I don't really care about being like the most famous artist ever. I just want to make enough money to just do it full time. But that's not really possible with the next goals because I want to go into voice acting as well. That'd be something I'm like for animation kind of stuff. That'd be cool. So it's not even like a music thing, but I really want to do something like that because I really, as I said, I grew up on Disney. I'd love to do something with Disney, whether it be even write a song for Disney, do something on something like that, or just do voice acting in like a Disney film or something. Even if it's just like being an extra, it'd just be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's one of my goals in life. Not really. Obviously, music could probably be the thing that got get me there. Like maybe they do like a. I mean, the dream would be to be in Frozen 3, but that's not realistic. No, with music, I would love to just keep going and do stadium tours. Maybe not as the main artist, maybe as the opener, because I don't want that many eyes on me. To be that's a lot of pressure being the main guy. Although if it happens, I'd embrace it. But yeah, I as I said, I'd love to tour the world. But yeah, with me saying that I don't really want to be that famous, it's kind of like contradicted. But yeah, there's a lot of dream collaborations I have. There's people I want to work with. I almost have a song with everyone in WCR, so that's almost that ticked off. I just need Bird. I think Bird's the only one I haven't done a song with.
XM?
Yeah, I've got it recently. That's been in the works. I did a hook from.
Release?
It's not really no. So
Okay.
our song isn't released.
I'm like, the hell?
I have a song with Mimic in the works. Really.
Yeah.
Fun fact: children's stars of Disney are now crackheads. That is true.
Yeah.
That is very true. But they're children. I'm not a child. I feel like a child. I'm not a child.
It was caused from things I feel like they had with them as kids on Nickelodeon.
Like I have some like, where is it? Dream.
So you have.
Yeah, I have a list of just artists I'd love to collab with and shit. Yeah, it's it's a very long list.
What was that?
Sorry? Oh, it's a long list.
That's a long list of professional artists? Is that...
Yeah, so I have this written down just fucking hell. Just in case I die and someone picks up my music or something, I was like, it's called Dream Collaborations in Case of Passing. So I have loads of people just written down. I have a few like songs that like I've noted that like where they are just in case, because they're in different places to like where you usually find stuff, like not on Ableton. But yeah, there's a lot of people I'd love to work with.
That's awesome. I think that writing them down kind of puts that power too, that you're writing that intention down.
Yeah.
That is manifestation.
Yeah, definitely. Say the one that I've actually got, there's one of these that I've actually got very close to. But I don't have $800. But yeah.
Buy one of those beats, man.
Sorry?
Is it one of those what are those? Dominici beats? What are those?
No. It's so there's this artist called Cold Heart, which is a member of GBC, which is the group that Lil Peep was in. And he randomly posted on his story one day, he's doing features. DM if you're interested. I was like, okay. How much?
Is it the same feature, or are they like personal?
No, it's like personal ones.
Oh.
He only has like he has like 800k monthly listeners. So it's not like mainstream or anything. But yeah, he wanted $800, and I was like, maybe in a few years, but no. But he's I couldn't afford anywhere even near that. So
I'd be like, you give me $100. Yeah. You never know how hard up somebody is for cash. The worst thing you say is no.
But no, there's a lot of people that some of them way too unrealistic. Like The Weeknd is someone I'd love to work with. He is huge though, so that's. I'd say the most realistic one on here is either the one which I DM'd or actually one of them I have worked with. Smoke. Well, I haven't worked. We bought a beat off him. For Rogue Radio, Smoker Zach, who's my favorite producer. But in terms of someone who I'd say is the most realistic on this list is Ryan Ross out of, well, he used to be in Panic at the Disco, but as like songwriting, going in the studio with him, rather than a song, if you mean, like, as in like him feature on a song. So it's kind of like, co-writing.
Nice. Yeah, I love co-writing. It's great. I think that it's a certain type of energy that you don't get alone, and the perspective you get from co-writing opens your mind completely.
And I say that's the most realistic because he has like, I think 20,000 followers on Instagram. So he's like the lowest followed person. So it's like, if I was around the same following, he'd probably see my DM, if you mean, if I like reached out to him. So
maybe they're on TikTok. You could duets with them. I've got artist attention from duetting.
So the problem with that is he is the most inactive man on social media ever.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I don't think he's made a song in. He hasn't released anything in 8 years, I want to say, as well. So, but yeah,
maybe it's time for a road collab. You hear that? It's time for a road collab. If you're watching, so send them this. I did have a couple more questions too, about, you know, especially with you going from, you know, solo, kind of not really being so serious about it, you know, but obviously loving music because you lose yourself in music. So, you know, that's like your purpose. You know, it is. You can.
Yeah,
purpose.
I listen to too much music.
That just come to you, like that's your purpose. That's your consciousness speaking to you. You know, that's what you're supposed to be here doing.
I even like orchestra music, which I know like that's weird, but I literally listen to like an orchestra sometimes. I like some classical music.
That's, you know, it's super, super important, you know, that you are on this journey, and it's awesome that you are, because you living your purpose is, you know, what heals the world. But for going through this journey, you know, and going from kind of realizing that you do want to do music seriously, joining WCR, you know, getting the collaboration of the collective, what are some of the biggest lessons that you learned going in those different stages in such a short amount of time, really? I feel like, you know, over the past 2 years. Yeah.
So the biggest thing is be yourself while writing songs. Don't try and be someone that you're not. Just don't always show personality in your music rather than trying to create a personality. Because, yeah, you might. I mean, I kind of like learned this already a little bit, but like it has been pushed a little bit more of like, because there's some people who could like blow up and they'd have like this fake personality, and then they've got to like kind of withhold that to keep the career alive after that. And I think like with people saying like don't just write songs about fucking bitches and you know stuff like that. Like I'd never even like think to do that, but I've seen a lot of like real personalities in here, like especially Passive. Like he always like, I mean, he does have songs which is just like, you know, like, whatever, but he has a lot of just like his personalities in his music, and I've definitely learned a lot in terms of like keeping it real rather than trying to be someone you're not.
For sure.
So,
with also, you know, going through obviously like, you know, COVID, graduation, everything like that, I'm sure that it was hectic and almost, you know, you're always inside the studio, and you know that's definitely got to be a challenge in itself. You know, before you did find a collective, I'm sure that you were part of other collectives or other people that you did associate with online.
nope.
Separating that, you know, from and being able to, you know, release music and albums and such, separating that from everything else that you deal with in life, you know, between you working and your family balance and all that. How do you balance and I guess keep your sanity? What does keep your sanity? Is it just music, or do you lean into your family and stuff too when music isn't enough? Because I know you're really close with your family, like I am with mine.
So I actually have a song about this that I don't know whether I'll ever release, but it's called Joe's Song. I might release it one day, potentially, just on the end of an album, but I don't know. But it's kind of like, I'd say the two things that keep my peace is music and my family. So, yeah, I'd say
lifting up each other, like when things are happening.
One thing
gets you through, and music, your family gets you through your music troubles.
No, I'd say like if I'm feeling down, there's two options. I either throw on Spotify, or I just go and spend time with people. And then when one of them isn't working out, as in like I'm just like I've heard too much music today. I need to do something. I can just go to my sisters or something, or I might just message, even like just talk, just like how's things, because she just had a new baby a few months ago.
New Uncle Joe.
Yep. Yeah.
Weird, huh?
Yeah, no, I was.
Was that your
No,
first?
so I've been an uncle for 4 years now. 5 years. Sorry, I've got two nieces. Well, three nieces. One of them isn't blood related. It's married in, if you're in. So I've been a niece. No, I've not been a niece. I've been an uncle. I've been an uncle for 5 years to one of my sisters, and then she's just had another baby as well. So
there ain't nothing like it. I love being an aunt. It's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So how do you find, I know that being in music, it's one of my hardest things has been balance. How do you find the balance between life and music?
Don't have balance. You see how often I am on the server.
Literally the answer everybody gives. There's no back.
I think I'm too committed to music sometimes, and I wish I would take a step back, because like in times like recently, well, I haven't been able to like bring something to like an idea to life for like a few weeks, maybe a few months even, probably. since I've wrote a 2-verse song. So yeah, I feel like sometimes I just wish I'd just kind of like embrace the fact that things aren't doing it, and that I could just like walk away, leave this desk, go outside, not for too long, obviously. But yeah, like
You're a little pale for that.
yeah. And it's this time of year when hay fever gets me, and I can't leave the house really. But you know, I just wish I could do more away from this. But I know I can't. My mind. I'm always, even at work, I will head on to BeatStars, just start searching for beats, even if I'm not like, there's nothing on my mind. I'm just like, oh, let's go and find a new beat, and then
Walk away from it.
I can't take my mind off it. Like even Jacob always calls it the itch when you're away from your computer for even a day. Like when I was in Florida, I love Florida. I can't wait to go back. I'm going next year as well. But all the way, I was like, I could write a song right now.
That's how I feel. Like I could be doing something with music right now instead of this. Like
that's kind of like why I'm learning piano, because I can always do something productive, which is like I can show people as well. Like, you know, like say if I'm just walking around in Manchester with one of my friends, I could just go up to, because they have pianos everywhere in Manchester. I could just go and play something. So that's kind of like something else. Even though I know it's still music, but instead of it's different though. It's different, yeah.
Still satisfies the itch a little bit, even a little bit.
Yeah.
That's like why I carry notebooks literally in my purse. I will always have a notebook on me. And then it's like sometimes I'll sit in front of the computer and it'll just be fucking blocked. And then when I'm away from it, I'm like, oh, now I just have everything in my brain.
Yeah,
awesome.
literally.
And I come back and I can't do shit.
Yeah. I mean, when we're playing piano, I'm like leaning into like, oh, I want to write, as I said before, I want to write a musical. Shit.
Yeah.
Like play a few chords. I'm like, when I was young.
You should write a musical.
No, I'd love to write a song for a musical or something in the future. Just do something.
I have stuff that sounds like musical songs that I've written. They're
I
inspired
actually
from
did a musical.
what was that one that came out a couple years ago and inspired a song? Was the one about the kid in school. God, I can't think of it. Something Jack Hansen or something weird. I gotta look it up.
I can't think.
I can't think of it either.
No, for the Tuesday show, we had to make a terrible song one week, and I wrote a musical for that called The Quest for Cheese. 7 minutes long, but I had fun making that because it was like, it was terrible, but it was just fun making it because it was purposely terrible. I like put loads of effects on my voice, made it sound bad in places, but the idea of it was like theatrical, if you know what I mean. So that was something fun. I know Gons told me I should release it because it's that funny, but
You should. I feel like everybody should release everything they do, even though I don't release anything either.
I have so many songs that I've told myself I'm just never releasing.
Do you ever feel pressure to do more? Do you feel like you don't do enough?
Yes. Even when I do a lot, I feel like I haven't done enough.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that. Is there any type of expectation you put on yourself? Do you think it's pressure you put on yourself?
Definitely, yeah. I'd say I'm my own harshest critic, so I'm always like, what am I doing? I could do better. Even with, like, obviously I want to leave where I'm working now. I'm like, because when I first started making music, I was like, oh, well, within a year I'll be touring, you know, like, so then realizing it's not like that.
Stage next year.
Yeah, realizing it's not like that has hit a lot. But yeah, it's kind of like you just gotta grow, kind of work to get there. You can't just, you know, like Rome wasn't built in it. I know it's cliche, but Rome wasn't built in a day. You've kind of got to build, try and like place foundations, and then once you've got the foundations down, it will get better. So yeah, I feel like I'm
it's
losing
hard
what
to
I'm
step
saying.
back. I feel like it's
It's
hard to
fine.
step back and kind of see that from that perspective sometimes, especially when you're in it. I feel like we all put so much pressure on ourselves to, finish everything and do everything, and then we start too many things, and then we have things that are never be done, and then it's just
Yeah,
like it's almost so overwhelming that it's almost like I can't even, and it's hard. I definitely feel like that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as artists. I mean, just as humans, you
yeah,
know, it's hard. I don't know. I guess.
yeah. Because it's so hard to like. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's so easy to get the canvas in place, but then
Mhm.
finishing the art is
Mm.
that is another task. It's like
That's why they say art's never finished.
when you never like when you're not in the mood anymore, because you've got to be in that moment and finish it. That's what I'm saying. Like, well, what the advice that like Olivia Rodrigo gave, kind of like you've got to finish it there because you might never feel that feeling again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always a task. But yeah, I say like when I come to re-recording something, I always have to record something fresh first, and then be like, oh well, while I'm here set up, I might as well record that. So like that's the only other time I ever re-record is when I'm recording something new. So I need to. That's why I haven't re-recorded anything for Rock Radio yet because I haven't done anything new to record. So
Yeah. I feel like even if you go back, like it is hard to get back in that energy. And you end up changing everything, and then you're like, well, now this is
yeah,
ass. I'm done. That's how I
yeah,
am, anyways. That's the pressure I put on myself, and then I just shut down. It's hard. Push through. I
yeah,
gotta like go listen to something that I know to get back to like the voice I know. I feel like I lose it sometimes.
yeah.
It's hard. It's definitely hard. For our wrapping up here, Rogue Jeopardy out everywhere debut album. Definitely about
Oh,
some real.
I've got the merch on.
Ooh, you can get merch for it too.
Yeah, I gave
And
a few away on social media actually the other week.
no,
Grey Baby got one, and MCT
that's
they both got.
awesome.
So
I
yeah.
love that. Y'all can listen to it now. We are doing on the Nikki Joe Show artist toolkit for every artist that comes through, kind of taking key points, 5 key points from the stream for other artists to possibly use. Um, so I'll round it out with passives we didn't fully finish. I got to go back through and go through those. But so far, what I've taken from yours is allow yourself to write garbage. We're gonna
Yeah,
take that straight from there because this is good. Finish your songs in one sitting. Do what makes your inner child happy, and just be you. And we need one more. If you have another thing for an artist toolkit they can come to if they feel stuck, if they feel like their expectations and pressures are too high on them, if they feel like they want to quit, if they feel like they're even at the end of their rope, not even just with music, any kind of, I guess, piece of advice or tool that somebody could, really just rethink in their head that might replay to help snap them out of it.
don't be scared to share. I know I don't always. I'm sometimes scared to share, but I feel like I should share more because I have so many songs which no one's even heard that could just be the best thing since sliced bread, and I don't even know about it. So, because Passive was saying that because I was saying like I barely share anything to the review show anymore, and he was saying like make sure you just share ideas because you never know when like something, like something that because. So I recently watched. Sorry to go on a ramble again, but I recently watched a documentary on, the Tones and I song "Dance Monkey."
Oh, I was just watching part of that. I think that maybe I saw part
It's
of
on
the
EV
documentary
too.
probably on social media when she was talking about what it was based off of and
Yeah.
the song and stuff. It's really sad.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, so I absolutely hated the song.
I came up in a template the other day. I'm like, I can't even use this.
Yeah, so I absolutely hate this. I hated the song. until I realized the meaning from this documentary on it. And I was like, she didn't even think anything of this song because she wrote it in like on the spot, literally. She was saying, and like she wasn't even planning on releasing it, but then people liked it, and now it has what 3 billion streams.
Yeah.
So she would never have even like shared that song if it wasn't for people pushing her. So you never know yourself, like if a song's good or whether it's amazing. You know, like you never know how people are going to perceive a song, do you? So
Yeah.
never be afraid to share something.
I feel like some people, their songs that they hate the most are the ones that people love the most.
Yeah, I've definitely had that.
Yeah, for sure, me too.
Yeah.
I think that's a good round out.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to share.
Am I the first person to fill out the toolkit?
No, I have some. Well, they're little
No.
ones that I've kind of taken. Passives I'm still putting together. I wrote it down in a different spot. But I have Nash's, which is have patience, make your moments, write through it. Don't listen to your inner bitch. Chase your obsessions. It's what you love the most, not people. D-Birds was writing fucking matters. Be detailed, be authentic. It's all about networking and ask for help. And then passives was kind of like yours, but it's in my total other section because I'm actually making like a little, I just kind of typed his right into my, making a little like page post just with all of them on it. Once I'm done with our WCR, artists, associates type interviews, and I spread more interviews in the community and hopefully local artists here too. I have a couple people that I've talked to about doing some interviews about like, even like healing and stuff like that. So some cool stuff in the future after we get some of our main interviews down. But the main stuff I kind of want to make a little kit, a little PDF toolkit for artists. Something stupid and fun, but it'll be good. But yeah, I will add those on there too. Those are all really good ones. I think that the main thing that I've noticed from talking to you, and obviously I've talked to you a bunch of times, but talking to you, during the stream is, I appreciate the messages and the stories. I guess not even stories, your messages and your experiences that you put out in your music and your lyrics, and how it can help other people that might be at that point, and how you're able to talk about that freely, about even still being in the headspace a lot of the times. I really think that that's super brave. I think that's super, it can help people actually not make it a stigma to have, behavioral health or mental health, moments, because we all have them, and it's just actually getting them out and talking about them. So I definitely wanted to make that a point, that that's super important. I'm super happy that, you talk about that. And I hope everybody hear that, we do have feelings channels. We do have a huge community. So like, if you're ever feeling any certain sort of way, like there's always somebody here for you. Like we all are here, and we all, don't want anybody to ever, just disappear because they couldn't handle stuff or didn't think that they had a support system at WCR, because you do. And Rogue is definitely, a big person that I've gone to with my shit too, and that nobody knows about, like he's been huge for me on that opposite.
I think both of us have woken up in the morning with at least 6 paragraphs just from.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's the community that it is. And it's like, I really appreciate you coming up here and talking about not just your album, but like putting out the music that does talk about the depths of certain things like that too, that, might help save someone's life. Honestly, that's the point.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to thank you for coming up here to interview and doing all that with your album too, and kind of getting a little bit more deep on the back meaning of it, and hoping that the community continues to help you as you help it, because you definitely pour a lot into the community.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And
is there any last words? Anything else you want to say to the community while you're up here on the Nikki Joe Show? Woo.
Thank you. I don't know.
I hope that everybody, What did you say about cheese?
Stay fresh cheese bags.
Stay fresh cheese, Max?
No, stay fresh cheese bags.
Oh,
Just like
okay.
stay fresh cheese bags.
Stay
No.
fresh cheese bags. Real talk, for sure. I appreciate it. I don't know. I can't wait to fully listen to the album. I love everybody that you've collabed with. I think that your growth has been crazy here. I've seen it all firsthand, and I'm just thank you so much for being up here. I'm super happy to have you. I hope that everybody has a good night and a good week. We have the Wednesday show for reviews, so submit your stuff. If you don't want to wait all night, tip or sub. And then we have the Sunday show at 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, is that 4 p.m. still?
Yeah.
4 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. What is that? 9 p.m. your time?
Yeah, 9 p.m. my team.
9 p.m. Is
UTC.
it British springtime right now there, or no? It's not.
I actually have no
Yeah.
idea. I just say UTC because it accounts for whatever it is. So
Okay. All right. I hate UTC. It's so confusing.
I like UTC because it's the same as Up the Clarets, which is like the thing that you say in Burnley. So
Okay. I always have to convert from UTC and it drives me nuts. But I'm like, no. But anyways, that's going to be all for tonight, guys. I'm sorry that we keep talking, but we hope you have a great night. And I don't think we should rate anybody, probably because I don't know how to rate yet. All right. Love y'all. Have a good night.
peace.